welcome to Out of Spec Motoring. Today is going to be a fun one. We have the Chevrolet Bolt EV, the Tesla Model 3 Short Range Plus, and the Hyundai Kona Electric to compare. They're all pretty much the same price. They're all fairly in the same category. So which one should you buy? We're going to find out. This video is going to be broken up into 3 sections. The first is an introduction to the cars with my father and our friend Dave. The second is a pro and cons list of some of the highlight features of the cars. And then the last, my friend and fellow YouTuber Nicholas Murray comes and he helps us review the cars with his unbiased opinion on the particular vehicles.
Nice! It just oh my god! That's fantastic. And I had to find a UPS drop-off envelope, so I got out of the car. I'm walking all the way downtown Stamford, and I didn't even turn the car off because I'm so used to a Model 3 where you just get out of the car and you leave. Yeah. Meanwhile, someone could have just taken the car and driven away with it.
So for the purpose of this review, I've brought my father and our friend Dave to come and help along. Let's go through the cars.
I've always liked a smart little hatchback. And this particular car, I actually really enjoy the styling. The front, some people don't like it. This is kind of a fake grille right here, but I think it's kind of cool. And you've got your charging point right here, which I pretty convenient when you're able to pull in at home into the garage. I can just plug right into it. But this is the ultimate version, which means it's got all the technology, all the whiz-bang gadgetry that I really, really love.
It seemed weird to consider driving one of these, but when I got in it, took it for a ride, I was immediately impressed with the handling. It reminded me of 1984 Volkswagen Rabbit GTI, those pocket hatchbacks, with its handling, its acceleration, and its ease of use.
The particular spec on this car is we have the 19-inch sport wheels, white interior, white exterior, pearl white of course, and it has all of the full self-driving, and this car is actually an early access beta testing car, so it has enhanced summon and all the cool UI stuff that's coming out. And then come around to the back, even though it is just a sedan and we're comparing it to essentially 2 hatchbacks, you have a trunk full of camera gear, but the seats do fold down and you can throw your dog back there and they can have the whole back of the interior. And then of course you have the main benefit of this car, even if it isn't the best in terms of practicality, you do have the best charging infrastructure with the Tesla supercharger network, as well as just all the cool features like fart mode. I mean, that's kind of fun. This review is not meant to get super technical with the car. Certainly we talk a little bit about charging rates, but this is really a nice high-level introduction to these 3 cars that a lot of new EV buyers would potentially be cross-shopping. So with that said, let's go through 3 things that each car does well and 3 things that are lacking on each one of them. Starting with the Bolt. The Bolt is one extremely practical. You can put a ton of things in it. It actually has roof bars, so you can put a roof rack on top. And it's also quite, good to drive. It's relatively quick. It handles pretty good. It's just overall a good product. Not amazing, but good. Downsides. No adaptive cruise control sticks out to everyone that drives the car. This is a technology feat of engineering. We should have adaptive cruise control in the Bolt. Charging rate is rather low in the Bolt. Again, 55 kilowatt is not really acceptable for long distance road trips. It's totally fine as your commuter. If you would, occasionally take a trip, you can certainly make it wherever you need to go. However, you're just going to be sitting at that charger a little bit longer. And lastly, the Bolt just feels a little bit cheap inside. It's just a Chevrolet product, as well as, just the way the seats are designed to how you sit in it. It doesn't really feel really, really nice. While the Bolt may be a fantastic car for many people, it just isn't as premium as the Kona, especially in the upper trims, or especially the Model 3, which isn't even the most luxurious car on the planet, but the Bolt just feels a little cheap and chintzy. The Kona is put together really well. I mean, the South Koreans know how to build a car. Hyundai has been building great cars for the last 5 or so years, maybe even longer. So, it's great to see them invest so heavily in battery electric vehicles and see them really put their best foot forward with the Kona. The Kona has great positives, such as that it's the right height off the ground. If you just need a vehicle that we call as butt height, so you don't want to climb up or sit down into a car, the Kona you can just slide right over, get in and out totally easily. The standard features on the car are really great. You get fantastic lane keep assist, as well as forward collision warning and a few other fantastic things that are great to have as standard. You also have a relatively decent seating position. Even I actually prefer the base seats in the SEL being the cloth. The seats are great, the steering wheel's good. It's a great long distance car with its 76 kilowatt charging speed, and feel free to check out our Kona videos because we've spent a lot of time with them. The Kona lacks in a few areas though, and namely due to size. If you need to put a lot of things in your car, there's no front trunk, although I believe there's an aftermarket solution. There's not a lot of space in the back. Rear leg room is almost non-existent, and there just isn't that much to do for rear seat passengers. There's no USB ports like the Bolt has, and it's very Spartan back there. The Kona just also doesn't feel that it's tuned properly. I believe it could use a software update, and maybe Hyundai will make one day, but it just feels you hit the accelerator pedal, sometimes it gives you more power than it thinks. The brake blending isn't quite there. You know, if you hit a bump, sometimes it'll freak out because it does get 150 kilowatt regen, which is incredible. However, that can lock the front wheels on slippery surfaces, and it causes the car to essentially roll forwards as ABS kicks in and anti-drag control. So very weird sensation. And aside from that, the Kona makes a really loud whining noise at low speed that just drives me nuts driving it with the windows down. And then we have the Tesla, the Model 3. I really love the interior of the Model 3. It's simple, the seats are high quality, and actually the seats have gotten better with later iterations of the Tesla. I prefer the white seats that we had in this car that we were testing today. And then autopilot is just fantastic. Of course, you can't rely on it as a full self-driving tool. I don't think we'll actually ever be able to, just my opinion. However, I really do love the driver assistance technology that comes as standard in every Tesla, except I believe the standard range Model 3. The standard plus makes a lot of sense. It's worth the money, I think. The Tesla also drives the best. It has the best handling dynamics, it has the best acceleration. It just overall feels much more like a driver's car, and a car that was built to be driven rather than a car that was built to satisfy EPA laws and CAFE emission standards. And lastly, even though the Model 3 is the only sedan of the bunch here, I believe it's actually the most practical. You can completely close off the trunk if you need to. The rear seats fold down, giving you a ton of space. You have a front trunk, and it's just you can't go wrong with one pretty much. With all that said, there are some downsides though. The Model 3 is a little bit more expensive in the higher trims. Of course, if you want to get the kind of range that the Kona and Bolt have, you're gonna be talking another $10,000 on top of the car that we tested. So you can certainly get the one you really want, although most people will be totally fine with the standard range plus. Another downside with the Tesla is the potential, servicing, maintenance, and repair facilities. Obviously, the car doesn't require really any maintenance, but if you did happen to get into a fender bender, it could potentially take longer to get the car fixed than other manufacturers. And lastly, the most annoying thing about the Model 3 are the door handles. No one can figure them out. I get why they're that way. I just wish they would put the motorized up ones on like my Model S had previously. So much easier. So my friend Nick came by because of course we need to drive all the cars that we've been talking about, and I've already experienced them. I know what electric cars should feel like. Nick of course has spent some time with electric cars, but he is a car enthusiast first and foremost.
Yes, but I know that electric is coming for everyone. I almost got myself an e-tron recently.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to get myself the electric Macan when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nick's going to experience all three of these cars, the Bolt, the Kona, and the Tesla, and share his unbiased thoughts onto how they drive, because my thoughts are very biased, of course.
Yes. Well, before I even drive any of them, the Tesla's so much better looking. But I don't know, I'm quite interested to drive the Bolt. I think the Bolt's was a good first effort from
it's the oldest car here, right? That came out before the Model 3, and it was a transitional vehicle. So.
And I like a hatchback.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get on and drive the Bolt. This is my first time driving this vehicle.
All right, 2 different settings to talk about there.
Yep.
There's a sport mode, not really sure what it does. Then there's a drive, and if you go 1 down from drive, there's L, which gives you full regen, essentially. So I just drive it all the time in L. And there's a little unlock.
How do you turn this damn thing on?
Like the BMW.
Oh, I see. And, oh, so you don't even see the L.
I know, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So I can just roll. Punch it.
Yeah.
Electric cars. So creepy.
Right, so this is
so you can feel the regen. Does that, so it wouldn't do that? It wouldn't be braking like that if it wasn't an L?
Right, so it would be tied to the brake pedal.
Right, yeah.
And there's an even extra regen. The left paddle, like downshifting on the steering wheel,
okay.
will give you more if you need it.
Well, I like the layout. Like, it's pretty easy to read, and I don't mind the interior.
No bolstering to the seats.
No bolstering. The seats are wildly crampy. And she's a little creaky already. But, like any electric car, pretty smooth. And this road along here is maybe one of the worst roads in New England, isn't it?
It's so bad. And this is after they just fixed it 2 weeks ago.
This thing's got some go. It really does, huh?
Electric cars aren't slow.
They're never slow, are they?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know. That damn, what was that smart car of yours?
I still have it. I love it. It's not fast, but it is the best car on the planet.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, for a first what model, this isn't so bad.
I'll hit sport mode, see if you feel a difference.
Makes a different noise. Did you hear that?
Well, we got more power that time, 157 kilowatts.
Let's turn it off again. Is it off?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same.
No, okay. It was just the higher speeds.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, I think the major fault with this car is really it feels kind of, it's fast, it's fun to drive, but it feels kind of tinny, doesn't it?
It's not refined at all.
No.
I mean, even from a drivetrain standpoint, you hit the gas or accelerator pedal and there's a delay where there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the high and dry Kona.
It is, and this is the ultimate version, so this one's a little bit more expensive.
So I had low expectations from the outside because she's one ugly beast on the outside. But on the inside, it seems a little, before I've touched any buttons, seems a little bit more high-tech and, yeah, smarter than the Bolt, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So turn it on.
Now that I've touched a few of these buttons,
well, it looks better.
Yeah, it does look better than it feels, that's for sure. It's got electric seats. So this is
not on this side.
Oh, not on this side?
Yeah, no.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it's only the driver's looked up.
Yeah. Oh, I never noticed that.
There's a wire hanging down here. All right, let's...
So there's your power button.
Oh, yep.
That's your heads-up display coming up there. I don't know if you can consider it a heads-up display, but
yeah,
it is something.
It is a... Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just kind of let down by the noises and the feel of everything, isn't it? But
right.
but you're saying you think the
Well,
technology is pretty good in this, and it's got a lot of options.
Right, so it's got a little bit bigger battery than the Bolt, but it can charge essentially 50% faster than that can. And I drove this car 3,000 miles without issues.
Oh, really?
In one road trip, yeah.
So same deal. I just hit drive here.
Right, we'll put the drive mode in, let's see, normal to start.
Yep.
And then your paddle, sorry, this is your regen set to full now.
Oh, okay.
And it will actually adjust the regen based on cars in front of you as well.
Yeah, right away, just driving out of here, you're not getting this squeaks and this.
Yeah, and this one's also brand new. It's only done 6,500 miles.
I guess, yeah. But still, a 20,000 mile car. It's not an old car.
No,
so
not at all.
Shouldn't be falling apart like that one was.
I agree.
Oh, this one responds so much better,
You're
doesn't
not
it?
even in sport mode
Oh my
yet.
God. Yeah, I didn't realize how sluggish the response on that Bolt was.
That's why I wanted you to
Yeah,
drive that.
wow, this is a completely superior experience, even just the first few meters.
Right.
And I thought the Bolt was good, and now I realize, shit.
Some people need a high riding vehicle.
Shit, they just did it then.
Right, you can feel the
just
brake.
did it then when
It's so
I was
weird.
had the brake down, and then it decided to switch between brakes and rolled forward.
Yeah, I'm telling people.
People. Alrighty, let's punch this bad boy.
Yeah, rip it.
Oh, got a wheel going.
So this is showing percentage of power. That's pretty cool.
Right, it's actually not showing percentage of power.
Oh, is
That's
it?
what it says. But if you test it, it doesn't, only your accelerator pedal. So I'm gonna put you in neutral for a
Yeah.
second. Touch the accelerator pedal.
Oh, you
I was playing around with that on the trip. Isn't that
you
silly?
stupid car. Still, it's instant response compared to
Right.
that Bolt. Like,
Yes.
now I realise how bad the Bolt is. After driving this, I thought the Bolt was pretty good, but this is a superior
The
experience.
Bolt isn't bad if you don't experience it.
Yeah, as long as, if you're buying a Bolt, do not drive any other EV. Oh, there's a guy right behind us too.
All right, well they're gonna
witness.
get lost in our smoke.
Oh, nice!
It just
Oh
left
my god!
smoke.
That's fantastic. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but that braking problem.
It's a little freaky.
Yeah. But this feels like a luxury vehicle. This feels like an expensive vehicle.
Well, you just got out of a Hyundai Kona. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
But
The
getting
Hyundai-
out of the Macan, does this feel complementary to that
This
type
does
of car?
feel, yeah, the steering wheel leather feels like a Macan.
Yeah.
The seats feel like even softer than the Macan.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and just it's quiet, it just feels solidly built like the Macan does.
Right. And that's amazing how Tesla's able to do that for this price. Being a hatchback guy, as well as I am,
Yeah.
would you give up the hatchback for one of these?
Yes.
Would you prefer the hatchback version of this, the Model Y?
Yes.
Yes, I would too.
Yes, definitely. Now that I'm in this car, I really realize the difference, the quality, the obviously a lot more effort has gone into making this a more seamless experience to drive. Oh, Tesla, they're just doing it right, huh? I'm so pleased that an American car company is being so successful.
You have to love it. It's
Yeah.
really fantastic. So this is basically the slowest Model 3 you can get.
And still,
It still goes.
Yeah,
It's great.
but also it's rear-wheel drive, isn't it?
This one is just rear wheel, yeah?
Yeah, and you can tell that because the front's not lifting up like the other two.
Right.
It's just rearing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my mother, she can't put gas in a gas car, so she's
Yeah.
limited by the tank range.
Yeah.
In this car, she can supercharge. The car tells her where to go and how long to wait there.
Yeah.
So she can go anywhere, and she has.
I'm having trouble finding words to describe the difference in quality between driving this car and driving the other two. It is just far superior. Far more confidence on the road and doing twice the speed
Yeah.
and not even bothered by it.
Right, so Model 3 for the same price, that's what you're getting.
It's just no question. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I agree. So I would actually give up, any of the capability or the height-wise. I would, even if I had bad knees, I'd crouch down into this car every day to drive.
Yeah.
Versus the other one.
It's Toyota Corolla compared to a Bentley.
You want to get back in the Bolt and see how bad it feels
No,
now?
I do not. But that's the thing. When I drove the Bolt without experiencing these other two,
Yeah.
it was fine. But yeah, if you're buying a Bolt, you don't want to drive one of these two.
Right.
Fantastic.